Hey everybody, welcome to the Soapy Box. I'm Denalee Bell, and today we have Jean Schilling joining us as a guest. We're excited to have her. I've invited you for a couple of reasons.
Yes.
One, you are kind of the softer side of me. Though we might have similar opinions, you're a little softer and offer more love and compassion probably than I do. I'm a work in progress where she's a little bit further ahead.
Right.
Yes.
So, everybody starts somewhere.
Exactly. So how I met Jean, we met actually in a class, right? In one American
classes. Long time ago, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I went to her as a massage therapist and found out that she's, so much. And it's not your typical massage therapy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's emotionally, spiritual, and physically healing.
Yeah.
And I believe you're led by the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is why it's such a comfort and such emotional healing that happens there. We call you... Okay, so don't get crazy, Christians. It's just a name. We call her Jean Magic Fingers around the house because literally she can just touch a spot on your body and just the pain is gone.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's not me, but it is me. It's through me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you also have a product coming out called Reveal, which is going to help people find themselves, find their identity.
Yeah, sort of whatever you're doing or that you would like to do to help you process through your emotions and what is stopping you from taking the next real steps to
Get
the life that you really want to live. Right, yeah. Your best self. Like, how can you get to your best self and what is stopping you from being there? Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about toxic femininity today.
Yes, which is excellent.
It's a big topic. I was actually shocked when you said yes to this one.
Really?
Because when I sent you the outline, I thought,
I love it.
That's awesome.
I mean, I think there's so much of a conversation about femininity and women starting to lead, and really the whole world is looking to us to do something. And there's something in the way that some women are doing it that hits my heart wrong.
Yes. And I think...
No. We need to really understand it. I mean, all women really want to live a magical life. And I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to do that. I think the way that some of us are going about it is sort of problematic.
So, and I think that's with a lot of things in life right now, which I really started noticing since COVID. Like, we all probably want the same things. Yes. We just don't agree on how to get it.
Right. Correct. I agree.
Because I don't think we're all that far apart. I mean, everybody wants happiness, love, success. They want to feel adored, cherished.
Yes, exactly. Beautiful.
Useful, purposeful.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that people want. So when I bring up the word toxic femininity, what does that mean to you?
Everything I don't want the feminine to be.
That is good. That is
to me, toxic is the overly masculine, the trying to control, the inflexibility of human nature. Like, as women, I think we really have a tendency to hold more space. And I think, to me, toxic femininity does not do any of that. It really pushes out everybody from the space and makes it just simply about us.
Something you just said,
singular.
Some things you just said made me think of, it's like we're fighting our own nature.
Correct. Yes, that's what it feels like. Yeah.
Yes. I think there was toxic masculinity, right?
100%. Yeah.
So
we can't, that's part of the ebb and flow of it, right?
And there's toxic femininity.
Yes.
So I think the problem is we started out with maybe some good goals with feminism, right?
Yes.
And the experiment isn't really working out. Like, it's one of those things where we were just talking about where maybe we all want the same thing, but there's a group of people who have just taken it too far, and the pendulum is swinging so too far. And the reason I wanted to talk about this subject is because I have so many wonderful men in my life.
Right.
I have 2 beautiful sons, an amazing husband, friends. My brother is the coolest guy you'll ever meet. He is really cool.
Yeah.
And he has these beautiful young men that are my nephews that I want good for. And I want good for all of them.
Yes.
But what I noticed, a trend that was happening that really has been upsetting me, is their desire to repress their thoughts and their emotions. And And I've done it too. And I'm going to say, we're going to talk about some traits of toxic femininity, and you will find me in all of them at some point in my life.
Absolutely.
And even sometimes still this morning.
Right. Yes.
as early as 3 hours ago when we were getting ready for the podcast, and Dave dared ask me why I was setting the camera where I was. I became abusive verbally. Right. Why do you care? What's this got to do with you? And I was this shrill person. I thought, oh, you're talking about this today. How lucky for you.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing to be a shrill witch. So, but I want them to feel like they can say what they're feeling. And
yes.
And so Tyler and I actually filmed this podcast already together.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And we were both uncomfortable with it for two different reasons. Okay. I believe I was uncomfortable because he made me film outside and it was hot.
Hormones, people.
But I think he was uncomfortable because he was uncomfortable with this subject matter and how he might be perceived because he's a man. And so this is my understanding from talking to other people his age, and I'm not speaking for him when I say this, but they feel like, okay, the patriarchy, this is what they've been taught. The patriarchy took over for too long, and so now we need to give women room. And I don't think it works that way in some ways. I think we lift each other up, right?
Right, yeah.
And I don't think it's by saying, okay, I'm not going to exist so you can have more space.
Right. Bad idea.
Yeah, and I think that's happening. Right. So I was kind of thinking about what toxic femininity meant to me. Like I was trying to get a definition, and I was just kind of looking at what other people were saying about it. I think Jordan Peterson said it's basically antisocial behavior.
Right, yes.
But I think that toxicity in masculinity or femininity, and this was a problem, Tyler, too, when we were talking, he said, that could be anybody. It doesn't have to be male or female. Right. Well, he's correct. There's definitely some lines we see along genders that are using their biology to create toxicity.
Right.
And so I think that's what it is when we overtly use our biology to subjugate or oppress some other group to get what we want.
Right.
Instead of being decent human beings.
Right, exactly. Okay.
So you won't find that in a Wikipedia.
No.
That's just me.
No, right.
And I think men and women do this differently. Like we've seen men do this maybe, and this was maybe a reaction to men using finances, strength, right?
Sure.
These other ways to manipulate women. And I think I grew up in the 80s as you did you.
Yep.
And my parents got divorced.
Yep.
And my mom was left holding the bag.
Yep.
She had to figure out how to feed us, how to take care of us, and do the deal. And I think that happened to a lot of women in that era.
Yes.
And they didn't have skills maybe because they were planning on being stay-at-home moms.
Right.
And so you had this people who were rising up going, I don't know how to take care of you. And then you had us as daughters watching this going, I've got to be able to take care of myself. You can't trust a man.
Right.
And so I kind of bought into this whole
thing.
And
that's sort of the other piece of this, is sometimes you can't even trust your own mother, right?
Yes.
Because they don't know how to process. Right. And not that I don't trust my mother, but there are parts of that, I think, era of women that it was so unstable and so new, as right now we are unstable and new in our own movement forward. Like what does that mean? And because they didn't know, it wasn't safe for us as girls to really try and emulate what they were setting as the example.
No. And I think I believed a lie.
Yes.
Like
100%.
All men.
Right. Yes.
All men are this way.
Yes.
Right. And you can't trust a man. And I don't think it's been till, I've been with my husband for almost 28, almost 30 years now.
Right.
It's probably only been the last 3-4 years where I realized he's not leaving.
Right.
I don't have to have one foot out the door like, okay, I'm ready.
Where's my strategy?
It could happen at any minute. I've got to have a strategy. I have to be able to make enough money. I have,
Right, yeah.
And I'm just comfortable because
Right.
I had
beautiful.
A breakthrough.
Right, yes.
Right. This was all a lie.
Yes.
So anyway.
No, this is good. So we're going to lead into, where do you in yourself find your own feminine, your own essence, and just sort of sit with that right now. Touch into her and just breathe.
Okay, how do I do that?
So
help me through this. Help us all through this.
So take a deep breath, kind of wiggly squiggly in your chair a little bit.
And we are sitting on the most uncomfortable chairs known to man. But it's for you guys. This is for you.
It's going to be okay. So just take a deep breath. Kind of settle your thoughts a little bit. Come into your own self. Feel your body, the weight of yourself on the chair where your feet are sitting. And just think, where is the softest part of me residing right now? You don't have to say it out loud.
Okay, I wanted to say my butt, right?
I know, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have to say it out loud. Okay. Just be with wherever that soft. See, because this is the other part that women tend to do, right? We make it an external expression of what's soft. You're like,
you're right. I did my cushy butt.
Exactly. Okay. And inside.
Okay.
Do the inside piece.
Okay.
Where is the softest spot in you right now that you can really say, this is where I really feel feminine. This is where I feel my nurturing comes from.
Okay, so I'm going to just say an answer so I can see if I'm on the right track, because I'm not sure I fully understand how to get inside myself.
Okay.
Okay. I just kind of imagine me holding my Yorkie.
Okay.
And cuddling her. Yeah. And just it's this nurturing feeling.
Right.
Because the boys don't want to be nurtured anymore. They're older.
No. Right.
They would really like me to stop.
This is why you need grandkids right now, so you can really start.
They would like it to stop.
Always hug your mother.
Exactly. Okay, so
But that is sort of the essence of it, right? So in this space, right? For me, this space is always in my chest. It always comes from my heart.
Oh,
it's always my essence. Mm-hmm. Right. That is the whole, right, exactly. How do you, exactly.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm, right.
I like that.
So in this space, how do you soften and expand and really start expressing yourself from that space? To me, that is the beauty of the feminine. Because the essence completely is this nurtured state of holding, right? And this is the piece, right? You're holding it, but you're not holding on to it. You're just allowing it to be what it is.
So I was feeling a little more toxic before we did this little exercise. And I will say, because I think about some examples in my life where these toxic things have hurt men in my life.
Yes.
And I get a little heated about it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or affecting other men. I mean, right. I love men. I think they're awesome.
You are surrounded by men. You can't not love them.
There's a man dog out here that I'm babysitting.
Yes.
So, so my assertive aggression, testosterone, my masculine was speaking.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was probably good that you settled me down a little bit.
Exactly, yes.
So I want to talk about the different areas that we do see this toxic femininity come out.
Okay.
Not to beat people up, because like I said, I can see myself in each one of these.
Absolutely.
I could give you an example of when I've done it.
Right, yeah. Totally. Checklist of my own. Okay, that was a little bit toxic. Yeah, absolutely.
But also, maybe if we're aware, maybe we can change a little bit. Maybe we can embrace our men a little bit more and love them and not abuse them.
Right. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. So I have an identical twin sister whom I adore. She also makes me a little bit crazy. But there are moments, even in our relationship, that I, as I know how to nurture, and I know what to say, and I know what to do, and I can do all the things. And she absolutely hates it, hates it. And we get into these little bit of fights over it. And she gets so mad at me. Oh my gosh.
She doesn't like that calming presence you
No.
have? Oh, that's awesome.
She thinks it's awful.
Oh,
she literally hates it. So in this process, again, I can, in my own feminine nature of it, one, it does hurt a lot when she pushes back, a lot. Oh my gosh, it hurts so much. But in that process, then I get to choose. Do I, again, push even more forward into that relationship with her and go, no, we need to work this out? Or do I step away, let her process and have her emotions?
Oh, I don't even understand your words.
Process and have my, yes, that is the practice of the feminine. I really do believe that. But as long as I can step away and come into my own emotions, then I can feel where I'm trying to assert myself over her expression, right?
Okay, but doesn't it feel like she's asserting her need for you to be different?
Right, but again, that's her, and this is me.
Okay.
So am I going to convince her that I need to stay the way that I am? Or do I soften into that moment and go, oh,
okay,
here I am. I'm already asserting myself into her, and she doesn't like it. And so then how do I stay in my own lane, find my own space? Where is the love that I have for myself? And soften into this relationship.
Because it truly only matters what you feel about yourself.
Exactly.
Right?
I can't make her do the things I want her to do any more than she can make me be different than how I am. The difference is that in the healthy aspect of the relationship, somebody has to go, oh, you're right. I am trying to get you to do something you don't want to do. And I'm calling that love.
Yes, that sounds like love.
This really
That's patience and grace, right?
It is.
That is love.
Right. Except it's to her, it's feeling something different.
Oh.
And that is
you're respecting that her feelings are different than yours.
Exactly. And so you can't just
we could all learn from this. Right? Maybe Republicans and Democrats could all come together if we could just understand that we have different feelings.
Exactly.
And respect each other for it.
Right. Exactly.
And men and women. I forgot this wasn't a political show. I forgot for a minute.
Right. But that is really owning the essence of the relationship. Like, where am I and how do I stay in my own
that is a
loving
nice
myself
feminine piece because I think part of the problem with toxic femininity is we've been taught that we have to fight. We have to do this. We have to scream to be heard.
Yeah.
And it's kind of gross.
Right. Absolutely.
And we feel, I think we were taught, and I was taught this too, that this is how you have to do it.
Right.
And I don't think it is, because I think we've hurt men and ourselves in the process.
Right.
By not just
Yes.
practicing something so simple as respecting each other's feelings and not taking it so it's so offensively. We're not being easily offended by somebody just not adoring us in a minute or not loving everything we do. Because I certainly don't love everything everyone does.
No, I don't love it when she does things to me either. I'm like, oh.
All right. Yeah. We're going to move into hypersexuality.
Okay. Okay, let's do it.
Okay. So this was the other part of the reason we scrapped the last podcast, because I don't want this to come across judgy, because I have also been not perfect. You know, I got married at 19, I wasn't a virgin. I not proud of it, but I mean, I wish I could have given that gift to my current husband, but it's what it is. I'm and have I used my sexuality in the past to get what I want? Yes. Mm-hmm. I think the problem that I'm seeing with the hypersexuality across the board is that I feel is concerning to me for these young women. The OnlyFans page, the Instagram, the social media, the movies, all of these things, it seems to me as if these women have created themselves into being a transaction. And not really, it's not really about their self-worth. They're using this tool of their beauty to sell something, which I get, it's been done forever. We've got models, we've had all of these things happening. I get it. I just don't know that I like it for them because I don't like how it becomes an identity almost, right? So I'm the OnlyFans girl who does this for $30, or I don't know how much stuff costs. I have no idea. But
not sure I want to know, but okay.
But then it also is a tool to subjugate and oppress men.
Right.
And exploit them and exploit their dollars and exploit.
Okay.
And so there's so many things sad about it. And it's not that I have been an innocent girl who hasn't dressed inappropriately, who hasn't, I mean, it's been many years, but many moons. Many moons.
Sure.
Because as you get older, ladies, you put more clothes on. Layers.
It's true.
Lots of layers.
It is a lot of layers. Yeah.
So how do you feel about, I feel like, and I don't want to pick on the Kardashians but it feels like they changed the landscape of how women are perceived. And I don't want to pick on sex workers because they're making money and doing what they got to do. But it also concerns me that it's getting so normalized.
Right. And I think this is the hard piece of the conversation to even really feel safe having this part of this conversation.
Yeah, because we're going to get flamed on this.
Right. So there's so much in it that it almost is a conversation just by itself, right? So to me, in the process...
And you've got to wrap this up in 60 seconds.
Right,
I'm totally
exactly.
joking. I'm totally joking.
I don't know if I can do that either, but sort of. Right. In the process of really looking at the essence of what women are, I think that there are things in that are absolutely unique to each person. And I don't see that there's an issue with expressing that part of ourselves. The issue, I think, is when you're monetizing that part of the femininity. And that is the piece that I think
becomes the transaction.
Right, exactly. That's where it's like, no, can't, like, what happened to that innocence of it and the vulnerability? Like, why is the vulnerability so predatory? The vulnerability is the piece that we really want to be able to express in a way that is honored as it's received and not monetized as you're receiving it. And I think that is the issue with the whole thing, is that's the pieces that I am so gross, barf.
So what about the girl who wears the skirt so high you see her cheeks as she goes out to a club?
This is where you and I totally disagree on this whole thing. I'm like, it doesn't matter what she's wearing. So this is the thing. So again,
I'm wondering what motivates us to want to get that kind of attention. Okay.
Insecurity.
Well, here's the problem. Here's where I have.
Okay.
So let's talk about the gym girls. I don't know if you've seen these viral TikToks. These girls
I stay away from TikTok.
You should. Well, it's kind of fun. They've got cool dog videos, but they dance and sing. So anyway, these gym girls, there's a ton of them out there. This is like a trend to post, I'm working out at the gym, watch me work out in scantily clad clothes, right? And then they seem to be really upset that a guy might look at them.
Right.
And that's the part that frustrates me, is like, it seems like it's like getting a tattoo in these bright, crazy colors and then being mad somebody's looking at it.
Right.
Or if you have spiky hair, long purple and pink, I'm going to look at it because it's fascinating.
Right.
I mean, and I'm even going to look at the gym girl because I'm usually fascinated, like, how much work did that take? And I don't want her to think I'm hitting on her, but if it's fascinating to me, I can't imagine my husband or my son looking away, though you should.
Right. But I think that is the essence of women, right?
Okay.
In general, women, and there are some women who just do it so well. It does not matter what they're wearing. Men and people, everybody looks. They could be wearing a plastic bag and people would be drawn into them. So I don't
think in a sexual way or in a interest way?
No, everything that is beautiful, we observe and think, oh my God, beautiful, right? And you want the world to be that beautiful all the time. I mean,
we like flowers.
Right. there are frilly dresses and
cute
puppies. Exactly. There are certain things that just make you feel.
See, I just pimped my dog out.
Okay. But that is the essence of love, right?
Yes.
Because we want to share the love that we have. So to me, the issue isn't whether or not she's wearing whatever she's wearing. The issue is she's looking for affirmation of what she's wearing to affirm that she's beautiful.
But then is upset when she gets it.
Right, exactly.
That's the confusing part for men, I believe.
Yes.
Like, okay, if you're going to wear scantily clad clothes and men look at you, you might have to be comfortable with that.
Right.
Or don't do it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But are they just uncomfortable because the guy doing it isn't cute enough for them?
Okay, that's a whole other conversation.
Well, it sounds toxic, right?
Right, like, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But I really think that women...
You can't pick and choose.
Right.
Right. I only want 10s to look at me. Like, that's not a thing, right?
No, that is not a thing. And so...
please do not make that into a clip.
Oh, man. There's so many terrible things about it. Like, no, do not do that.
Right.
But however you are dressed, it should not matter who looks at you or who doesn't. Like the object is not to sexualize what you're wearing. Who are you dressing for? Like, that is the other question.
Okay, so I'm going to really get in trouble for this one. Somebody once told me, and I'm not going to mention their name because they're part of my family. I was taught to dress modestly.
Right.
And because I was told, I can't know if I can, I may have to cut this out. I'm going to say it out loud. And then, if we have to cut it out, Tyler, to cut all this.
This is the piece.
If you want to be treated like a hooker, dress like a hooker. If you want to be treated like a cop, dress like a cop. If you want to be treated like a pastor, dress like a pastor. Like, do you know what I mean? Dress for the job.
Fair point. Dress for the job that you want.
Meaning...
Okay, I get that.
Meaning more than the job. And I'm not saying...
No, there is something in this piece of wearing clothing, whatever it is. Everyone's shape is different.
Yes.
So the same thing is going to look different on different people.
Yes.
And some people you're going to be like, wow, that looks amazing. And other people you're like, why are you wearing that? Yeah. There was a period.
I don't want to do that. I don't want people doing that to me.
No, exactly. I don't either. I'm not going to wear anything that shows skin.
You will not see me in bike shorts and a belly shirt.
No. When I was 12. Right. But I wouldn't do that now. But thankfully, we've gotten away from those like low-rise pants that are just like an inch over your pubic bone. You're like, oh my God, what the hell were people thinking?
Falling off all the time.
Right. And some people, cute.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to have a right shape
other people
to hold them up.
Yeah,
right. You have to have a right butt.
Right. And other people, you're like, oh, you should not wear those.
I'm sorry, hon. It's not, everything's meant for everyone.
But again, this is the thing. If you are comfortable in it, who are we to criticize you wearing that? Okay,
so I want to make clear, I'm not criticizing girls for doing this. And, in a perfect utopia, we would all be able to just wear whatever we want, and we wouldn't have to be in fear of being accosted by a predator.
Right.
Unfortunately, we don't live in that world.
Unfortunately, we do not.
Right. And that's where the toxic masculinity comes out, that we have to combat.
Right.
We can't just wish it away. And I think that's what the movement tries to say. Well, men should just be able to look away. Well, they should, but they don't all, because not all of their moms taught them to.
Right. Yes, true. True.
And so if you get to wear what you want, they get to look if they want. Like, you can't have it both ways.
Right.
You got to have the freedom. And so these gym girls who are complaining about people watching them and then go, these guys are leering at me, but then there's no one in the gym, which is also this is just a side note. That's kind of fun. Like, nobody's watching you, girl. There's no one in the gym.
There's no one there, honey.
It's just
you don't need to worry about it. Yeah.
Do you hear voices? But I think it's, a lot of it's for attention on social media, right? To get clicks, to get
Right. Everybody wants likes. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like we're going to do on this.
Right.
We're going to try and bait you in with a hot topic so that you'll watch the whole video. And so please do like and subscribe. It does help us. So I guess we disagree.
We disagree. I mean, I really think you should be able to wear whatever you want and wear it any way that you want.
You can too, but you should also be aware there's consequences. You're going to be treated differently.
I still disagree.
So you don't think men will treat a girl who's scantily clad differently than a girl who's dressed modestly like you?
I think certain men will do that.
Yeah, I do. So, but you have to expect that.
Yeah, I suppose there's some, okay. All right. Yeah. We'll give you.
So I'm just shocked. I don't care if they dress like that. I don't care.
Right, exactly.
And that's my husband's
I'm not going to, right. I'm like, I'm not totally going to look at them any more than you're like, what?
I mean, I do look because I am fascinated, but honestly, from my end, it's truly usually when somebody can pull it off, it's kind of an appreciation of.
Right, you're like, dang, okay.
I know what it takes.
Yeah.
And obviously I don't do it. But also I think about the men in my life and how do you have to handle that? You have to force yourself to look away. You have to change who you are. So the women never have to change who they are now, right? We're going to suppress the men, and we're going to take away all your assertive aggressiveness, your biological visual. I mean, men are visual, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to pretend like that doesn't exist for the women.
Okay, well, this comes back to the whole Kardashian thing. Who were they cosmetically altering themselves for?
For billions.
Right. Because clearly there's a market for it. And that's the tragedy of the whole thing is that it becomes
I don't mind that they did it. It makes me sad that other girls thought they had to do it.
Right, exactly. Like
to be like them.
Right, exactly.
Like it was going to change their life.
Right. This is beauty of women is really being in our own essence and just allowing that essence to be exactly how you are without having to do anything. And to me, clothes can enhance you feeling that you got it right. You know what I mean? Like for yourself. It isn't for somebody else. To dress is to really feel that you're doing it for yourself and you're like, oh yeah, I feel really good in this.
So this is the next toxic feminine trait out of order, but since you went this way, I thought we'd segue. Who do women dress for?
Right.
Which is an interesting thing. I think a healthy woman dresses for herself.
Yes, 100%.
Okay? A toxic
100%.
woman, who apparently I am, dresses for other women.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't look at it this way, but we read the book called The Anti-Mary. I didn't read the whole thing. Have you read the whole thing?
No.
Okay. So we started reading The Anti-Mary, and it was an interesting take on why women dress for other women.
Right. Yes.
And it was for power and influence amongst women. So I had been told always to dress by my stepmom. In case you're watching this, love you. She had said, always dress up a step better than what you think it's going to be. Then you'll always be comfortable.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's true. I always felt comfortable.
Okay.
Because I would, there's a fly in your hair. Look like Mike Pence for a minute.
We cannot have that.
But I would feel comfortable because I always felt, okay, I'd rather be overdressed than underdressed.
Right.
And so that made sense to me. But then it became an issue. Right.
Okay.
Where, when we had more money, it was more of a competitive thing. Do I have the right handbags to have the right stuff? So when you go in the room, you're more comfortable. And we live in an affluent area where things like that matter. And I was much younger at this point, and before we lost everything financially. And I had to sell those handbags on eBay to eat. So,
well, lucky you had them in order to sell them to
Tell
eat.
my husband that. He never got it. But I get her point was like, if I'm dressing for women, what's the motive? So I can look better than them? Kind of toxic, isn't it?
It is very toxic. I agree with that.
If I'm not just dressing so I feel good about myself and feel confident in any setting, it's a little different. Interesting, I've never dressed for my husband.
Okay, that is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't think he cares.
They don't.
He's like, yeah, that's a nice dress. I'm like,
right.
I wore this 24 times. Like, you're just pretending like you've just seen it? He doesn't care. No. But he just knows to say the right things.
Yes, exactly.
Because I've been a toxic feminine and say, you need to compliment me more. Because he knows the rules.
Right. He's a very good husband.
He is a very good husband to put up with all of this. This is a lot. It is.
Yes.
It is. Well, you know.
I do. I do. And I just think we make it so hard. And it really is not that complicated. Like,
well, and just being aware of it. Being aware of like, okay, why are you getting dressed this morning? Like, what do you, it's made me think about it. It's made me think about, is this for you? And I'd never thought about it before.
I wore a dress today so that I felt more feminine.
It's like pretty.
Thank you.
Pretty. So, but yeah.
But that's the whole thing is what are my thoughts?
Yes.
And why am I having those particular thoughts?
Yes.
And how then do I keep my thoughts from affecting the way you are thinking of me, the way somebody else is thinking of me, and just stay, again, with clean in my own lane? Yeah.
Clean in my own lane. I like that. Mm-hmm. So that turned into a long.
That
did. So I kind of, think of this new victimhood status women have had. It's not really new. So I think of like my moms, like we talked about earlier, like in the 80s and parents getting divorced. I kind of feel like those women were victims. And I just watched an old Phil Donahue show from that time where these women were getting divorced. And like, I think Glenn Campbell, he was an old country music star.
Right,
His wife was on it.
Sure.
And they had these divorcees. And they were talking about, and it was in that time, it was in the 80s.
Wow.
And it was interesting to watch. And I go, this is why feminism took hold. This is totally why. These women lifted up these men, paid for their education as waitresses.
Right.
Worked their hind off. And they were left for something more sparkly and shinier. Right?
Yeah.
And they didn't have the skills. Like my mom, she went back to waitressing and eventually, built herself up. But it was a scary thing. So, I mean, in essence, there was a whole generation of victims. Yeah, and then the children became victims of this life of being latchkey kids, of not having any parents at home now.
Right. Yeah.
And it was a trend for these men to go get younger women closer to the kids' age.
Right.
I mean, and I think it still happens, but it was a kind of a big trend back then.
Right. Sure.
And I think that's what has got this ball rolling and created this victimhood that we have attached to, not me and you, but women, some women. But it's also what we're selling to the younger girls. Because now they're saying, F the patriarchy. Which I'm like, okay. So the matriarchy should be above?
Right, exactly. Like, no. Well, okay, so here's the thing with victimhood. It exists. And if you really sit in yourself, again, come into yourself. Every person who has ever been wounded, any suffering, any loss of anything that makes you a less than, and therefore, yes, you are the victim of that situation, which is so unfortunate. But the healing aspect of the victim is not to look at yourself in that way repeatedly all the time, no matter which direction you're going, right? Like it doesn't, from that space, there is no healing. So the process of it is to really understand what it is that you're feeling, give yourself permission to feel it on every level and every way, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and really have at wherever your emotions take you. And then the healing piece of it is to really go, wow, how can I discern? Where is my clarity? And how do I move forward without continually telling this story of,
this happened to me.
This happened to me. My parents are divorced, therefore I'm a victim.
Yes.
I'm a woman, therefore I'm a victim.
Yes.
I don't have a job right now, therefore I'm a victim. I don't have a house. I don't have this. I don't have that. Right? And continually playing that I am the victim of the situation. And you
continue to be a victim.
Right,
then.
exactly.
You don't get to rise above.
Right. It never gets better. It never gets better until you have to set that story down and really decide.
I mean,
how do you want to do it?
I kind of, this is just my opinion. I think it's okay to wallow for a minute.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's wallow in a minute. Like this happened.
But that's not patriarchy's fault.
No. And it's not 5 years down the road.
Right.
Like we don't want this going on for years. Like, okay, this something bad happened to me, right?
Yes.
Let's just say.
Yes.
I can't stay there for the rest of my life if I want to do what I was created for.
Right.
You can't.
Where is the gift in this suffering?
Exactly.
And as the victim in victimhood, you can't see the gift in that because you're constantly
being mad at the patriarchy.
Right. You're living in the past.
Yes.
What's happening in the present?
And I won't say I wasn't one of these girls
100%.
who said F the patriarchy at some point.
100%.
I thought men were the problem. I truly did.
I work for myself for that exact reason. Right? Nobody tells me what to do or how to do it or when to do it or why I'm doing it or anything. I mean, that's the reason I went into it. But in that space, from moving through my own pain, suffering, victimhood, I mean, I was abused as a young kid for a very long time from somebody in my family and all of those things. And you can stay in that pain for, an eternity.
So.
Yes, absolutely.
But it would serve you.
But it doesn't serve me to continue to perpetuate my own victimhood. And the only way you can get out of that is really starting to peel off the why. Why do you want to be that way? What has happened to that group or that person or men in general that you think attacking them or trying to be better than them or bigger than them or more important than them gives you the feeling of healing? Like, how does it do that? It doesn't.
It doesn't. It's just like it's like revenge. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Like you don't kill someone because somebody got killed. Like,
exactly.
It's just wrong.
Right. This is the whole thing with the abuse in general, right? You've been abused in some way, however it is. If you're a parent and you find out that somebody abused your child, oh my gosh, the intensity of that emotion of wanting to kill that person is very real.
I just take back, we shouldn't kill.
Well, right, exactly. But you want to desperately hurt that person
who hurts my child.
Who hurts your child in any way that they hurt your child.
Which is
even more so. But that is a normal reaction to the situation.
Which is actually my anger towards this toxic femininity, because I think it's hurting the men in my life and how they move forward.
Right, exactly. So how can we start nurturing the women in a way that gives permission to men to be who they are instead of continually
to try to control them and change them?
Exactly. You're like, no, I want you to be strong. Yes. This is the beauty of, I think, the masculine in general, which is I am an anxious flyer. I actually hate being on airplanes.
You travel all the time.
I know. But I've always had these moments when it's been, the turbulence has been so much that I'm like, oh my gosh. And when you're sitting next to men, they just do this magical thing. And I don't even know this person, but they just do it. You're like, oh my gosh, I need to just tuck underneath you for a second so that I'm not terrified. Yes. And they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And they do this breathing thing.
They use their strength for good.
Exactly. And it's very grounding and it's very safe. And it's either they're consciously doing or they're unconsciously doing, because I think it's just so natural for them, especially in
It's the same as us picking up the puppy.
Right, exactly.
It's what they were created to do.
Exactly.
They were created to protect us.
Yes. And to help us feel co-regulated in our own nervous system. Like most people don't know how to co-regulate themselves, and you really cannot co-regulate without somebody. But men and women, it's just this natural sort of ebb and flow of your nervous system. And it's meant to be that way.
And when...
This is the whole yin and yang.
That is kind of
thing.
how my husband and I, like, I would just, it's like this dance when he knows I'm, other than this morning.
Right.
There's a dance when one of us gets high stress, the other one just kind of comes in and does the thing, right?
Yes.
He comes in and protects me and helps me take care of it. I come in and nurture him in the way he needs to when it's his deal, because that's who we are.
Right.
Because that's who we were created to be.
Yes, because it's based on mutual respect.
And biology. And
yes, exactly.
There's a usefulness in our genders.
Yes. We need both.
Yes.
We need both.
We do. And both are important. And
yes, absolutely.
And that takes us to the next topic.
Okay.
We need both.
We need both.
There is viral TikToks going around that really are about men bashing and men hating. I don't know if I'm saying this word right. Misandry. It's a man hating.
Wow.
It's a man hater.
Okay.
There's groups of them.
Wow.
They hate men. And they're proud of it. And their arguments are that men are not necessary, that we don't need men as long as you have the right sexual device and a turkey baster. There's really no need for a man. Right? Because what else?
Making me blush.
What else are they good for?
Right. Okay. Terrible, but okay.
It's horrifying.
Yeah, right.
It's horrifying. And it's horrifying that there's maybe men in my life who wouldn't speak out against it because they don't want to be the patriarchy.
Right.
It makes me insane. We all have to stand up respectfully. I mean, you don't need to go beat up a girl who's saying this.
Right. This is the whole thing.
Which they wouldn't.
Right. This is the whole thing about pain. My pain is my pain. If I'm giving you pain, that's not okay. If you're giving me pain, not okay.
It's not okay.
No, it's not okay.
It's not how we rise above. We don't step on somebody to get above.
Right. You're right. Exactly. We need each other.
I'm a little heated about this one.
We need each other.
We do.
We need each other. And the more that we can come into community with each other, and that includes everybody, whomever, but you cannot have community without the strong and the weak. Like you have to have both.
I truly believe an island full of women wouldn't last a week.
No, right, exactly.
We would kill each other.
We would kill each other, right.
You would see the most brutal war.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
Especially if somebody had chocolate.
My gosh, right?
And somebody didn't. It'd be over. Women are kind of mean to each other.
Kind of mean. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Have you seen that movie, Mean Girls?
It's been so long.
It's been so long.
Oh.
So this is a prime example of art reflecting life, right? Mm-hmm. Where we have these girls who bully other girls. And so these are the cliques. It's a clique or a group. And you don't see men do this. Men don't clique up and group up like a pack of wolves. Women do.
Right, yeah.
I guess that's not true because remember that movie Witness with Jodie Foster? In Accused, the men did actually gang up and abuse that woman. They raped her. But
right.
Okay, so that is bad. Mm-hmm. But that's not like your normal day-to-day life, right?
No.
And a woman will never get in trouble for this.
Oh,
right?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So you see that you had cliques in high school, right?
Absolutely.
In college, wherever, they exist. Yes. They exist in my hometown that I live in right now, and women my age.
Right.
Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
There's a group of women in society or in school, and they bully other women.
Right.
They pick them apart. Yeah. They do it together, and it seems to be for some arbitrary reason.
Right.
It could be, I don't know what it is. Like even in the movie, they're picking on somebody that's different.
Right.
For whatever reason. Mm-hmm. But it could be anything. And then they're going to get everyone on their team, align their forces for their war against one girl.
Awful.
I know. I did that in high school once. Or maybe not high school, maybe it was junior high. I got in big trouble for it.
Okay. What were your consequences?
I got called in. I mean, I'd never been in trouble before. And this girl just bugged me. And I don't know why. And I said something that wasn't nice. I'm not going to say what it was because we are now friends and I don't want her to hear this. And it was mean. I'm going to say it. So I told her she was adopted.
Oh, wow.
I know. This is how gross I was. And then she said something about, I can't even say this. I'm too embarrassed. It was so horrible. And I don't know why she bugged me.
Okay.
But when they took me in the office and it talked to me about how hurt her feelings were and how this had become a big family issue in their house, I didn't realize.
Oh, wow.
That maybe she was adopted. I didn't know, you know what I mean? And they had explained to me really the psychological trauma that I could cause somebody.
Right.
I mean, they handled it really well for those. I mean, that was in the 80s.
Right.
They handled it really well.
Oh, my good.
And I did feel bad.
Yeah.
And I did apologize to her. And I think I apologized to her repeatedly, and then we went into high school and we were good. And because that kind of breaks itself up.
Right. Yeah.
But it was kind of gross.
Yeah.
Right? How toxic. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
I think if we're not aware that we could do this,
right.
I mean, I don't think I would hate to say that because I've been friends with everyone since then.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it was probably a good experience for me, horrible for her. I'm sorry I had to learn on her dime.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But you can see that I was bullying her.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
So sorry.
It's embarrassing because it's so gross.
Right.
See, I'm in every one of these.
Right.
Every single one.
I think that's the whole thing is that we all are guilty of things that we have said to people that we have, that you can't take back.
No. And you don't realize how you've hurt people.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Or the other thing women do, like in this is we gossip.
Yes.
And we think it's harmless because we call it venting.
Right.
That makes it, I'm not ready to gossip about this. It's really just me venting.
Right.
But it's really just me talking bad about somebody.
I mean, I have a hairdresser that I stopped seeing because I found out that, and I mean, me. Why are you talking about me? What do I mean, really? What? And so I found out that they were saying things that I just thought,
that's bizarre.
Oh my God. I'm paying you.
Yes.
To do my hair.
It's interesting.
And you're saying things about me that have nothing to do with it. I mean, I don't really like makeup. I don't really do my hair. I just don't.
You're who you are and you like who you are and you're confident in who you are. I love that about you. It gives,
thank you.
You inspire me.
Thank you. We can all just relax. Yeah. It's okay. And I think it's the more of our own essence that comes out that is seen. I just think it's far more beautiful than makeup or anything or clothing or handbag. And none of that can make you beautiful.
No, it makes you gross.
Right, exactly. It's this whole essence. But they gave me such a hard time about not knowing how to wear makeup right or how to curl your hair. And there's that part where you're like, bizarre. I really think your hair is cute. How do you do that? Right? Yeah. And instead of it just being that, I actually found out that they made fun of me for it. And I was like, well, I am not giving you any more money. Sorry. New hairdresser.
Good for you.
Right.
Good for you.
But I think I think it's in the nature. And it
hurt your feelings, didn't it?
It did hurt
and she doesn't even know how much it hurt you.
No, none. No.
See, I don't think we understand the pain that we inflict on others.
Right.
And so, or that the unintended consequences of gossiping is like me talking bad about a new friend.
Right.
Or somebody I just met to you. Now that that helps you to form an opinion that might not be fair.
Right.
Because this was our interaction. That doesn't mean it would be yours.
Right, exactly. This is why you
so unfair.
Right. You don't say anything. When people ask about my family, I am one of 10 kids. There's like a multitude of personalities. Mm-hmm. Some of us really get along. Some of us are like,
well, how could you all get along? 10 of you?
Right.
We have 2 of us in this house, and sometimes we don't like each other.
Right, but I don't tell people who my siblings are.
Oh, okay.
You just like, well, it's my younger sister, blah, 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 or my older sister, or my brother, or, whomever. But I can't tell you any stories. You don't know them. So here, you meet them. You'll meet them. Yeah. We'll go to dinner and you make your own decision on who they are.
Right?
Right. Because again,
I did tell you a lot about my dad, didn't I?
Well, here's the thing. In a big family.
He did die.
Yeah.
So you could form an opinion.
I know, I'm so sorry. But right, exactly. Yeah. But that's the whole thing if I start telling stories about people, and especially in my family, and then it comes back to my family, I mean, this is like,
them.
Right, exactly. Right. And 9 people going, what? You need to sort this out, right? And you're like, oh,
it could hurt them directly, but it might hurt them in a way they don't even know.
Right,
maybe they don't get a shot at something.
Right.
Because you said some innocuous comment.
Right, exactly.
That somebody goes, oh, I can't trust that person because they did this to Jean.
Right, exactly. Right. I can't give them the job that I'm like, oh yeah, my sister is the perfect job or perfect person for this job.
But you just said she was mean to you that one time.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And you're like, oh no, that's not what I wanted. Yeah. Right.
I mean, we just don't know. We don't know how far along those go. So I think, and this is how women put people in line.
Yes.
Like we backbite, we gossip. Right. We triangulate. Yeah. We form alliances to control. And you can see that happening even in a political movement right now.
Oh my God.
So, and I don't want to beat up on one side or the other because I think we both sides are probably not all perfect.
Right.
But I will say, I will say this about the feminist movement because they're obviously far liberal women. If you fall down, right? The idea is that if you're part of the feminist movement, we're going to pick you up, you're a woman.
Right.
But guess what? Not if you don't agree with all of their tenets.
Right.
So if you don't believe abortion's 100%. A great plan, and I used to, I used to think it could be justified years ago. And so I was one of these women.
Right.
But now I've changed my mind. And so guess who gets kicked out?
Right.
Okay. I'm not saying that I want to beat up women who have gotten an abortion. They are in a tremendous amount of pain. I want to nurture them and hold them and tell them, you're going to be okay.
Right.
But
there are amazing resources
for
you if you have that as a situation or a story in your life.
But my fight against it, isn't it against them?
No.
It's against the system that's telling them this is no big deal and a baby is a clump of cells.
Right.
Which is also this feminist movement who's used semantic manipulation to change the meaning of words. So we're going to, the new thing is a baby is no longer a baby, it's a clump of cells. They just dehumanized babies.
Right.
So my frustration is with these young girls who don't understand. It's just like I didn't understand with my mom. You can't trust men anymore.
Right.
This is what you're growing up to believe.
Yeah.
This baby is a clump of cells, and if this happens to you, no big deal. And hookup culture, the sexual revolution brought us, right?
Right. But this is part of the whole feminism in general was to devalue the intimacy of one-on-one, right, relationships. Like
and it's worked.
Yes, unfortunately.
Except this sex that these girls are having, casual sex, they're learning too late that it takes a piece of their soul.
Right, exactly.
Every time.
Yes.
Every time.
Yes.
And it diminishes their self-worth every time that they're then rejected, even though they say they're tough and this is what they wanted.
Right.
I don't believe them.
No.
I don't.
No.
I just don't.
You can't.
Because
it's too sacred.
I lived a life before I got married.
Sure.
And thought that I was that girl.
Sure.
I was not.
No. Nobody is. No. And this is the lie that they're trying to tell you. No, if you just continue to believe this, then you're going to be fine. And
they're not.
No, and you don't realize it until you're in your 30s or 40s.
And you're thinking about the baby that you lost, or that the soul that you
have a kid, right? Exactly, and now there's no possibility of,
and there is repair of all of it.
Yes, absolutely, healing.
God is
mercy,
a healing
grace.
God.
Oh my God,
God is a healing God.
Yes.
God is a forgiving God.
Yes,
like we don't have to live there.
Right,
we just don't. But
no,
I don't like the whole institution that's trying to create more of it. Like it's good.
Right.
Like,
agreed.
I don't know if you've seen the abortion activists who say, we kill babies. Ugh. Like it's demonic, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It is. It's just promoting a whole economy.
Right.
For what? for medicine, for stem cell research, for baby parts. I mean, it's really a gruesome thing that I don't think these young girls understand.
Right.
So when I talk to young girls like my son's age, they don't understand my point of view at all.
Oh, wow.
They think I'm making this stuff up.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I have to literally send them, no, they just got in trouble for saying, they just got in trouble. Like they're using these parts for stem cell research. Right. They need the babies.
Right.
It's an economy. Mm-hmm. So, and I get their position because I had it too. Well, if somebody was raped, I mean, that's still their choice, but it doesn't take the rape away.
No.
It doesn't take the rape away.
The pain or the stain of it. I mean,
it doesn't take that pain away.
No. And I think that, I mean, this is the piece of having more conversations. We need to have more conversations and not just watch it on TV or whatever, or read it in some TikTok. I mean, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Or on here.
Right. Exactly. Right. Yes. My niece was in college a few years ago, and she's a mother of two. Like, she got married at 21. They had babies. They're beautiful. Her kids are awesome. I absolutely love her and her husband. They just are fantastic. But she too, right? Very Christian in her background, had to do a paper, and her paper was on abortion and why it was bad and not good. And she...
Did she feel that way, or did she have to pick at the time?
No, at the time. She absolutely has always felt that way.
Okay,
because we've always been... I mean, my mom had 10 kids.
I mean, I was a Christian and felt that way.
Right, exactly.
The other way.
Oh, really?
I did.
Interesting.
I know.
No,
Until you have kids.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, you're a miracle from God.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
They're so amazing. I don't know how, anyway, we won't go into that either. But anyway, she tried to turn in this paper, and her professor wouldn't take it because she was pro-anti, right? The whole paper was anti-abortion.
She hadn't learned to write the paper for the professor yet.
Right, exactly. And so
we've been doing that for years.
Yes, exactly. She had to continue to rewrite it, and then just decided to take the F on it.
Not allowed to have her.
No, she wasn't.
So the patriarchy did strike.
Right, exactly. Even though her
for
professor,
the matriarchy.
Her professor, right, exactly, was a woman.
Oh, she was?
Yes.
Oh, that you cannot go against them. The matriarchy is only if you agree with all of their tenets.
Right.
You don't get to speak truth or have critical thinking or have your own thoughts.
Mm-hmm. That's the sad part of the whole thing is that.
And I'm okay, if you have your own thoughts, like we just disagreed a few minutes ago. Mm-hmm. And, we're still going to have lunch
We're
again.
still friends. Yeah. Yes. We're going to drink cocktails.
Like even if you said you thought abortion was good, I'd probably just keep sending you pictures. I'm just joking. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. But it's this whole divisiveness, this line in the sand that I think was drawn during COVID. Do you think, or do you think it was before? Maybe I just became aware.
Probably. Yeah. That would be my guess. The line has been there for a long time. Yeah. In this, we are right. We are doing it this way. We are, all the things.
If you
disagree, you need to be,
you're out of
right. You should be shunned from society in every possible way. And I think that is part of the process and part of the book, the Anti-Mary. Like the whole process it started 60 years ago.
Yes,
they've really tried to now they're celebrating what they created, which is this complete divide and. They tear down a family and women in general.
That was the goal.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, that was the goal.
That's the sad part of the whole.
Of the feminist movement of the 60s.
Right.
They sat together, this cabal of women, of elite women in New York City, and created this movement.
Right, exactly.
To destroy the family.
Yeah.
So that the women could have more power.
Right, exactly.
That was their entire agenda. They were not shy about it.
No, not in any way.
I didn't believe that.
Me either. I didn't know that either. Right, yeah.
Because I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Because I thought as feminism, as growing up as empowerment.
Right,
and
exactly.
I could be a woman and maybe I could be
do
safe
any job.
I can walk safe down the street maybe and I can do the same job as a man.
Right.
I can get paid the same. I could, all of these things.
Right.
And maybe I could go to work and not be sexually harassed.
Right.
Okay. But the pendulum, those were the things that enticed us and got us in.
Yes.
But it wasn't the agenda.
It is not the agenda. Right. Exactly. The agenda is to tear down the family.
It.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And because those are good things.
Right. Absolutely. You should be equally paid for the job, whether you're female or male.
If you're doing the equal job.
If you're doing the equal job.
If you're showing up as a man would. Right. And here's the difference between men and women. Oh, I'm going to get flamed on this.
Right.
Here we go.
Yeah. Breathe.
Sometimes women don't show up like men do.
Right.
And that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Absolutely.
I've hired women. I've hired men. Okay. I will say I always give women more latitude because they might have kids. And I understand what it's like to be a working woman.
Right, yeah.
Meaning I've got a family to take care of.
Yeah.
And my kids and my husband come first.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then my household. And then we've got dogs. And we've got extended family to take care of. We've got my mom, my dad, you know what I mean, at the time.
Yeah, right.
There's extended issues.
Yeah.
Those are super important.
Yeah.
And I understand when I hire a woman that regardless of if you think you're a feminist or not, that's just what happens.
Right.
They're going to take care of the kids.
Yes.
Because it's what it is.
Right.
And
absolutely.
I'm happy about that.
To them.
I am completely happy about it. But I also can't pay that woman the same amount that I'd pay a man for the same job because he's going to show up wholly 100% because he's not going to take care of it.
Right.
Now, if a man did show up and acted like that, meaning that was his primary role, it would be the same situation.
Right.
But I think women don't take that into account when they're looking at this pay scale, that's a factor.
Right.
That it's also a factor that women don't choose those high-paying jobs of engineering.
Right.
Because our brains are different.
Right.
And some women just get math really, really good. I don't.
That's not my
I never graduated from college because of that. That reason. Statistics and probability are the reason.
I did not do that as a profession. I took a trade and rocked my trade. Right. And again, in my situation, I mean, massage therapists are predominantly women. They're not all women. I get to charge whatever I want. Actually, of everyone that I know, I actually charge more money than all of the massage therapists.
And in all fairness, you give more than everyone you know, probably. I mean,
there's a ton of education, right? Like I have done, continuing education from the beginning. So
this is a career for you.
Absolutely.
And some people, it's a job.
Right. Exactly.
Just like as with anything.
Right.
Some people, they're an accountant as a career. Some, it's just paying the bills.
Yeah. This is the job I'm having until, until I die.
This is
This is my life. Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.